going to talk about today is a few different aspects. The first aspect is a general explanation of something. Where people are having most difficulties, from what I can gather, is when it actually comes to the throwing and the release of the dart and the grip of the dart. Now, I've heard this, and it must be on more than 100 occasions now, over probably the last 2 to 3 months. And what people are doing is they're changing the grip. It's like I put the video out a couple of weeks ago now about the grip, and what they're doing is they're trying the grip, but they're having a go at it for 2 or 3 visits and then walking away from it because it doesn't work. I've said this on 1,000,001 occasions. Nothing good comes instantly. Nothing good comes without work. Now, everybody knows if you strangle an hammer and you try and hammer a nail in, you've got to hit a nail 10 to 20 times to knock that nail into the wall. Whereas if you hold the hammer properly on the handle and swing at it and trust yourself to hit it properly, when you do hit it properly, then the nail goes in 2 strikes. 2 strikes, 3 at the most. So all that wasted effort is all down to poor technique. A lot of people's darts performance and the poor performance is down to poor technique. It's not the fact that you can't throw a dart, it's the fact that you're not throwing a dart properly and you're not throwing a dart in an effective way. So basically, if you're, let's go to something else like a cricket or a baseball analogy for our friends across the pond. Anywhere in the world, no matter what it is, if you're playing cricket, if you're playing rugby, if the most effective way to throw a ball is overarm to get distance on it, and you insist on throwing it underarm and then complain at the fact that you can't get that ball to the wicket quick enough or get that ball to your teammate quick enough, and somebody else comes in and steals it, or the cricketer who's running to the wicket gets to the wicket before your ball arrives at the wicket, you can't complain about that because you know in your own heart that it's poor technique. It's nothing to do with the fact that you can't throw overarm, because you can, of course you can. It's one of them my old mum used to say to me, there's no such word as can. The only phrase that you should ever use is won't or don't want to. So I suppose that's probably one of the facets of the way that I look at things and the way that I have the determination that I've got. As people know, the surgery that I've gone through with my knee and what have you, I've always been all the way through it. I'm going to do it. I can do it. I'm going to do it. There's nothing's going to stop me from doing it. This is exactly what's going to happen, and this is what I'm going to make happen. So as we were saying, nothing comes easy. So if you're changing from an incorrect or a weak technique which causes inconsistencies and anomalies that are in your throw causing inconsistencies, the only way that you can improve that is by getting rid of them. It's like if you've got a car with a poor set of spark plugs. No matter how many times you take those spark plugs out and clean them and re-gap them, it doesn't matter. You can do it 1,000,000 times and it will not improve the way that your car drives or the way that your car runs. The only way that you can improve that is by repairing it with a new one. And this is what the Dynamite Dave stance and address, the throwing action, the mechanical throw, all that, this is what I'm trying to give to you, is being able to repair your throw with a new one, and a new one that actually works. So basically going from a cheap pound shop set of spark plugs up to a top of the range NGK Bosch set of spark plugs that actually work and do the job properly and do it efficiently, and mean that your car or your game runs perfectly. There's no question about it that it works. The amount of followers that I've got, and don't forget, for every subscriber that I've got, I've probably got 10 people that watch the videos that haven't subscribed and haven't clicked the notification bell. So it actually proves that the Dynamite Dave way works, and it proves that it's becoming more and more popular, which tells me that there's more and more people out there that are enjoying the game. There's more and more people out there that are becoming more competitive at the game. However it improves your game, if it improves your game a tiny bit and you only take one element out of it, like the stance or the address or the tick-tock motion or the mechanical throw, if you take any of those elements and it improves your game in any way, shape or form, that should be telling you that if you take the other elements, even if you have to take them bit by bit, if you take those other elements, every single one of those elements, if you stick to it, will improve your game more. If you've got all those elements right, I'd say 99.99% of the people who are watching this video now have watched some of the old ones. So you know how I can play, you know how I can throw darts, and if I can do it, you can do it. And all it's a matter of doing is, it's the same as learning to drive. If you learn to drive well, you will drive well for the rest of your life. If you go with an instructor for driving that actually has a passion for driving and wants to teach you how to drive properly, might take an extra couple of lessons and cost you an extra few quid, but that's worth its weight in gold, because you become a better driver and you become a better driver for life. If you become a better dart player now, you'll become a better dart player for life. It doesn't last for 5 minutes, it lasts for the rest of your life. So, giving the grip a go, having 2 or 3 visits with it and going, oh, it's garbage, this, it doesn't work for me. No, it won't work for you instantly, because your hand is moulded to the way that you throw your darts at the moment. Your legs, your hips, your upper body is moulded to the way that you stand at the hockey now. So when you go and stand at the hockey a different way, you cannot expect that to work with your first 3 hours. That's fantasy. It ain't going to happen. But if you persevere at it for 2 or 3 days, you'll start to see the results. With a lot of people, if they're here for coaching and one-to-one coaching, within 5 to 10 minutes, it's made a massive difference to them. But it still doesn't happen on the first 3 hours. It's still a matter of 5 or 6 visits before they actually get the arm going over the top and then actually start to see something positive from it. But obviously being here with me and me watching you and saying to you, well, do this, try this, and me encouraging you, it's totally different than you doing it on your own, either in your bedroom or trying it at the pub or whatever you do. Because obviously some people have dartboards, some people don't. So, the core message is, if you're going to give the Dynamite Dave throw, stance, address, everything, the full bang shoot a go, the best thing that you can do is, if you're a league player, it'll still work for you, but do it when you're on your break from your league. Obviously, if you're throwing now and you're throwing to a 50 or 60 average, that average is going to disappear altogether for the first 2 to 3 days to build it back up again, to get to a point where you are throwing better than you ever did before. So whatever you do, give it a chance. But don't forget, lads and lasses, you'll only ever get out of this game what you're prepared to put in. And that is an absolute fact. That's why I say it at the end of every one of my videos now, is you'll only ever get out of this game what you're prepared to put in. As my mum used to say to me, you'll only ever get out of your life what you're prepared to put in. And if you put a lot in, you'll get a lot out. So let's go over into section 2 now and talk about something, as Monty Python say, completely different. So let's go over there right now. Or you're coming back to darts. What we're going to do now is we're going to go through all the different stages of getting yourself to throw those darts in a good, controlled and correct manner to start off with. So basically, you're not just going to get a set of darts and start flinging them at the board. What you're going to do is you're going to have the proper instruction of how to throw those darts correctly right from day one. So so when you come to stand on the hockey for the first time, right, so this is my hockey on the floor here. As you can see, it's a carpet strip, a door threshold, and all I've done is I've bought a cheap runner off eBay. Basically a cracking thing to protect either your carpet or if you've got a wooden floor. So the first time whenever you come up to stand at the hockey, what you want to be doing is standing in the middle, right in the middle of the board. So basically, so the board, the centre of your body is in the middle of the board. I've got a mark on my hockey here, which you probably can't see from there, but you might be able to. There's a little white square in the middle of the hockey, and that is for when I've got people here that I'm coaching, so they know when they're in the middle of the hockey. What you do is you stand on the hockey, feet shoulder width apart, which is, for me, is about that wide apart. A lot of people think shoulder width is this far apart. It's not. It's basically with your legs just wide enough apart to sit underneath your armpits. So that's shoulder width apart. You're standing square onto the board, and then what you can do is you can turn that toe slightly in like that, which will make it easier when you first start to play darts to actually control where you're going on the board. So you've got your legs in the correct position, you're standing upright, looking at the board, and then all you need to do is just lean your weight onto this front foot. You're not lifting this foot up off the floor like you see. Whatever you do, don't do what they do on the telly. Don't start lifting your back foot up off the floor like this when you stood. Keep your 2 feet flat on the floor, flat solid on the floor, and all you do is transfer your weight slightly to your front foot. So that is the stance, the basic stance. To get that right, to look at it from this side at 90 degrees, this is what it should look like, imagining that the hockey's here. So you stood upright like this, and then all you're doing is just leaning slightly onto this leg just to plant that foot. You're not putting a load of weight on it, just a little bit of weight on it to make sure that that foot is planted and solid on the floor. Right, so what we're doing now is we're coming to the centre of the body here from the hips upward. I'm doing this right-handed, but I'm a left-handed player, just because a lot of people out there are right-handed. A lot more people are out there right-handed than they are left-handed. But what I'll do is I'll turn round and I'll show you it from a left-handed perspective as well. So you're standing on the hockey, and what you're doing is you're looking right up the centre of your body. So up the centre of your body should be right up the centre of the board. If you put your hand directly out in front of you, you should be able to go in like that, draw a line straight down from the double top to the double 3, passing through the bullseye. And that is how you'll know that you're in the right place. You stand up nice and straight. When you're throwing, you keep everything still. Your head needs to be still, your body needs to be still. All there is in a really, really good throw, which is the Dynamite Dave one, is 2 working parts. The rest of you stays still, absolutely still, and that is your elbow. So what you do is you raise your arm up so your elbow is at 90 degrees to the floor. You get hold of your dart in the grip that I'll explain shortly, and all it is just a backward and forward motion with your elbow and actually releasing the dart. You don't need to fling it at the board, you don't need to be going from over here. It's literally just straight over the top and putting the dart in the board where you want it to go. All you do is you look at where you want to go and you put the dart where you want it to go. And it's as simple as that. The Dynamite Dave throw is massively consistent, it's massively accurate once you've got the actual elements of it right and get used to throwing the dart in that way, because when you're moving around the board there's very, very little difference. The throw remains the same. All you're doing is just altering your body to go to different parts of the board. So for left-handers, same thing, we're stood with the shoulders width apart. We've got a centre of his body in the centre of the board. So as it comes up like that, centre of the board, and it's just elbow needs to be horizontal, not up here and not down here. It needs to be absolutely horizontal, and your forearm needs to be absolutely vertical. Now, even if you've never thrown darts before, this will take you a couple of days to get used to. Whatever you do, don't overdo it. Whatever you do, don't go and play darts for 2 hours the first day you ever play it, because you'll never want to play it again. Your elbow will hurt, your joints will hurt, your muscles will hurt, and I don't mean hurt a little bit, I mean they'll hurt a hell of a lot. So nice and steady, 5 to 10 minutes your first session, just
5 or 6 visits, something like that, 7 or 10 visits, and then walk away for an hour. Then come back and do it again, 5-10 minutes, and that's it for the day. Go away, sleep on it, come back the following day and build yourself up. The second day you might feel a lot better when you throw them. You might be very sore and you might only want to do 5-10 minutes again, an hour or two off, 5-10 minutes again, and sack it for the day. You might feel better about it, you might feel, alright, I'm alright, I can carry on for a bit longer. So if you feel like that, your second session, make it 10 to 15 minutes. Your first session, what you want to be doing is just throwing the darts towards the bull. So you're just coming over the top, just getting used to the feeling of actually releasing those darts, throwing them at the board. Just get used to that feeling. So all you want to be doing is just tossing them at the finger, So what you want to be doing is just tossing them at the bull's eye. Wherever your first dart lands, throw your second dart at it. So if it lands 2 inches below the bull's eye, try and throw your second dart exactly the same, so it lands next to your first one. Third dart exactly the same again, so it lands next to your first one again. So that is how you will develop your grouping. Developing your grouping is the be all and end all of this game. If you can get your grouping nice and tight, then you can learn to move it round the board. You will master the game of darts. First dart in, and then your second dart at your first dart's flying, and then your third dart at your first dart's flying, and there you go, straight out the bat, first thing in the morning, 180. Certainly is. 180. Oh, 180! 2 and 3 visits. $140. Totally live filming this, lads and lasses, totally live filming. $140. And again. $85, bit of a drop off there, bit of a drop off. Right, one more visit. Oh, 85 again. Well, that shows what I've had there, about 6 visits, something like that. 2 180s, 2 140s, that's the sort of standard you've got to play to. Yeah, 180. start with that one. So will lads and lasses, start with that one.